Welcome to Rapidin Lingo and welcome to the, second or third language learning update for my Icelandic journey.
In this video, I'll be exploring one of the many Nordic festivities that I would eventually come to experience.
Það mjög stór fiskur.
I'll talk about a weird similarity between Icelandic and another niche language that's been haunting me for days. And I'll take you on a trip to see the most breathtaking sights, where I may or may not have also got scammed in Icelandic.
Oh dear.
But now, let's start with...
I've been here a week at this point. It's Sunday. That's a helicopter. Oh, and welcome to the old harbour, the old Höfn, Gamla Höfn in Reykjavik. I'm here because today is Sailors' Day. Apparently that's the thing that they celebrate. It's called Sjómannadagur. Sjómannadagurinn, I think. I ended up being late. I was told by my classmates that the events last till 5. I arrived at around 4 and it turns out they ended at 4. So my bad. I should have checked the schedule. I didn't, so I saw nothing.
Nej. För sent.
There's still some activities going on, but like no performances. Fun. It's a thing that they celebrate.
Meiri gleði. Hvar meiri gleði? Okkur vantar meiri gleði. Meiri gleði. Það bara bíll. Bíll ekki meiri gleði. Það skip. Skipið stórt.
That's the stage. I think I found the stage finally. I'm too late, but
Það ekkert fólk. Af hverju? Af því það búið. Sjómannadagurinn búinn. Ég sé meiri skip. Það góð tónlist. Það gott skip. Stórt skip. Það ekki fugl. Hvað eru þau að gera á skipinu? Hvað ég að gera? Ég að gera ekkert, ingenting. Jag behöver mikrofonen. Mikrofonen i ryggsäcken, men jag vill inte stoppa här och ta ut mikrofonen. Það búið. Dagurinn búinn. Va? Åh. Stor.
Det är långa. Vi borde
Långa.
såna fisk.
Det är långa. Ja, det är så stor.
Það svartur fiskur. Hvað það? Það mjög stór fiskur. Það ekki bara fiskur. Það hákarl. Mjög stór hákarl.
Little did I know how much this hákarl would come back to haunt me in 2 weeks' time. I still remember it like it's yesterday.
funnily enough, my teacher actually tells us to write a diary in whatever language, not necessarily Icelandic. I haven't done it yet. I'm sorry, Branjo. I've taken notes. I have continuously written down my thoughts as I went each day, which they're right here. And in fact, I'm simply sharing what there would have been in my diary with you guys. So I guess this also counts because it's whatever language. This is a language, and I am documenting it. Right? I'm writing down what I've learned, what I've done, just not in text form, in video form, and also in text form. So back to the language learning thing. After I've gone through all the settling, adjusting emotionally, and also everything else, I started putting my language brain to good use, and I do really enjoy being in the environment and sort of just recognizing patterns. I see Icelandic all over the place. I know if I were here as an expat, I would just ignore all of that, just English bubble and all that. But I can't help it. Like when I see a word, I'm like, how's that work? How do they combine? What gender is it? What's the grammar? When I see a sign, I try to read it, and then just by reading it, I learned a lot from it. And that's how I got some of my vocabulary, which is virtually still non-existent, except for the bits I can transfer from Swedish. Last time I mentioned me and my classmate going on a walk and looking at some signs, and just from that I've learned something that has been useful in class, because I realised njóta, which means to enjoy, takes genitive. In Swedish that would be njuta av meaning from, or like out of. So it stands to reason that potentially originally it must have been like a genitive, which means also from something. This is from my experience learning other languages. So it just made sense. And in class, I could bring it up saying, oh, that's a verb that uses the genitive. Cool. Another fun thing I started noticing is a lot of the words give me a Lithuanian vibe. And let me explain. So in Icelandic, like in Scandinavian languages, the definitive article, like the is attached to the actual noun itself. But unlike the Scandinavian languages, in Icelandic, the nouns all decline, they change according to case. And the ending also declines according to case. And the two things kind of decline in a similar way. So for example, fish would be fiskur, the fish is fiskurinn. But if you have like the fishes, plural, the fiskarnir, and you got the two R's after ar and after ir. And what else? Land or country is land. The land is landið. If you make it genitive, like of a land would be lands. If you make of the land, then it's landsins. So again, you got the two S's after land and after in. And the reason it reminded me of Lithuanian was that in Lithuanian, there's also a weird kind of definitive adjective. So Lithuanian, like the Slavic languages, doesn't have a definitive noun, like they don't have the or a for that matter. But Lithuanian does have a definitive adjective. So for example, I once filmed a video, you can probably see that here, at Žalieji ežerai, so the green lakes as it is called. So ežerai is just lakes, it doesn't have the or anything. But žalieji is a definitive. How it was formed is žalias is green, nominative masculine singular. If you make it plural, it's something along the lines of žalie. I can't remember honestly, that's 3 years ago. And how you make the definitive adjective is you pop an extra little pronoun on top. It's like a year. So you add the year to the end of the žalie, and it sort of all contracts a little bit and becomes žalieji. And if you look at the conjugation table or the declension table of these adjectives, whenever you have these definitive ones, it's exactly like that. You see the same ending twice because the adjective ending declines in a similar way as the definitive ending. So you've got the žaliojo with two O's, and you've got the žaliasis, I think, so two S's. So it's weird. This is my second time since starting this channel doing one of these residential courses in the country. Both of them have been in a famously conservative language, Lithuanian being like the most conservative European language, and Icelandic being the most conservative Germanic language. And they just happen to have something like this, and that's so cool. Isn't that cool? Tell me it's cool, please. Anyway, back to the rambling about the class. A fun thing that happens in class is our teacher has a tendency to ask us to translate things into our languages, which is, I guess, part of the concept of the Nordkurs, where you compare different Nordic languages. But it's funny sometimes when he asks, oh, do you know what slappa av means? And it means slappa av in Swedish, or like in Norwegian. Or like, what does biltur mean? And someone's like, no, it's biltur in Swedish, it's the same word. What's the point of this? I guess the point is that they're similar. But it's also quite funny every time that happens. Lastly, for the past 2 days, we've done some utflykter excursions. One of them is supposedly to the city, but rather than going into the city, we've done like different spots around the city with some significance. And then yesterday, we did an all-day tour to like certain important places, like historical significance. When someone came to settle Iceland, or Thingvellir, where the Alþingi, the Parliament, used to be before they moved to Reykjavik. That was really cool. Breathtakingly beautiful. This country is fucking unreal. Don't worry, I'll show you some clips from it later. I'll talk about what happened there in VO, because there's so many clips, and there's some interesting language learning bits in there as well, not just sightseeing. The language learning doesn't stop, especially when I'm here learning Icelandic and also practicing my Swedish all day long. It's rare that I get to speak some English to you guys. But if I had to name the funniest moment of the entire utflykt, the excursion, I would have to say it's when my teacher asked consent from my classmates on behalf of me to film stuff, to film little clips. Thankfully, as expected, nobody had any objections. It's not like I'm filming them specifically. But the way he asked was so funny. He said, "All right, class, before we begin, there's something Israel has to tell you all." And I'm like, don't worry, I'm not a spy. That's not the point. Or am I? Anyway, thanks for watching all this rambling from me. Now I'll hand this over to VO Israel to tell you about the trip that we went on.
Sure thing, past Israel.
5, 6, 7, 8.
At 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning, we got on a coach, ready to go on a trip to see a variety of unique natural wonders. Of course, there was some language learning to be had as well. I can't believe that 6 days in, this was our first time leaving the capital region. I couldn't wait to see the part of the country that's basically all nature, which is basically most of the country, to be fair. But then again, for the past few days, we had been looking at some of these very same mountains from the city centre itself. As we headed further out, going along the coast and through tunnels, we started seeing some new mountains. But these were nothing compared to the peaks that were coming up later. If you've watched the last update, you know that we went to Borgarnes. We first took a pit stop before driving up this hill with an amazing view, an artwork with historical significance,
Vilken stad är den här? Þessi staður heitir Borg á Mýrum.
and something that would distract us from all of that.
Ég ætla bara að segja þetta á sænsku því að þetta svo mikið sem ég ætla að segja og kannski verður ekki hægt að skilja allt sem ég segi. En
So yeah, I didn't hear most of what he said. It had something to do with the first settlers, the first person born on Iceland, and something with death and grief. But look, cats!
Annan köttur. Sæll köttur. Sæll.
We then hiked further up to another monument, and this time I did pay attention. Not as much attention as to the language puzzle afterwards, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
ska jag kanske förklara någonting på min svenska om den här staden som heter vad?
In the nearby cemetery lay a stone with... I'm sure you know what these letters are. Let me know in the comments.
HR, halvar eller halver kanske. Ja. Man hade ju inte ur, man hade bara r liksom. Alltså r. Och vad står här? Ja, det känns som att det är 2 stycken r. Eller hur? Alltså r.
Jag tycker det ser som sådär och sen bara sådär.
Ja, fast här in. Ja, det här kanske är...
I would have loved to contribute to the deciphering, but sadly, my own knowledge was limited to the 2 letters on the Bluetooth logo. And don't worry, it's a replica, so the original is in a museum, safe from our touch.
Og á íslensku stendur þetta Hér hvílir Hallur Hranason. Hér hvílir Hallur.
After driving through some more fields, we came to see something very Icelandic. Hot springs. Like I talked about in my previous video, I was just starting to learn about the geography of this island, and this sulfury smoke from the dangerous water was definitely unlike anything I'd experienced before. And this would certainly not be the last time. But I was starting to feel giddy and a bit nervous because soon after, for our last stop before the most beautiful views of the entire trip, we were about to have lunch, and I was about to test out my Icelandic after learning for half a week.
Við allir eru að borða og æfa íslensku.
Já, við allir.
Sopan er góð. Var góð. Var góð.
Och odyr.
Var hon?
Odyr. Nej, hon är dyr.
Vad kostade hon?
Ja. 2
2000.
2000. Fri 300 300 kronor. Vad tidigare Ivy?
Ivy betyder väl typ såhär sjukt bra.
Ja.
Men är det det som står där?
Han måste smaka först.
Ja, jag har inga förväntningar. Jag är med samloku än jag köpte sushi.
Bara till dess att smaka.
Det här är en skam.
Nej, jag tycker
för
att
att det står här
För då vill jag ha in
12 bitar, men det finns ju 8.
Nej, men det var så.
Så är det bara 8 bitar.
Ja,
Så säger
enkel hefur borðað þar. Já,
ekki gott.
þú greiðir fyrir 12, að þú finnst bara 8.
Jag keifti 12.
Þú greiðir fyrir 12.
Greiðir.
Að greiða. Greiða eða borga.
Borga. Jag borgade.
Já, fyrir 12.
Fyrir 12.
Þú fikkst bara 8.
En jag fick bara 8. Ekki gott. Sushi är ekki dålig.
Bara allt í lagi.
Allt i lagi. En mig vantar meira wasabi.
Mig, akkusativ. Vantar, akkusativ.
Okej.
Subjekt i akkusativ och objekt också i akkusativ.
Så mig vantar wasabi. Wasabi.
Góður humor, ja.
Aha, gott. Det är mjög olika, annorlunda. Hur säger man det?
Ödruvísi.
Ödruvísi. Otherwise, ödruvísi.
We ended lunch by me guessing the term for an occupation that hit unexpectedly close to home.
Tónlistarsmíður er maður som býr til tónlist.
Spilla.
Nej, som býr til.
Orðsmíður.
Orðsmíður er en maður eða kona.
Ordsmith, wordsmith.
Ja. Som arbetar med orderna.
Så tonlistarsmider är någon som skapar tonlist. Så skriver eller spelar?
Skriver.
Kanski skald?
Tónskáld. Ja, tónskáld är också en synonym. En tónskáld är fattigra.
Follow my music channel for my composer life.
Tack för sprattlid. Jattla. Vid gungum.
Our next stop was simply a natural wonder. The moment we saw it, we just knew we needed as many photos of this as we could get. And apparently, my friend who took the same course in 2017 had taken the exact same photos because it's only natural.
Som har folk lägger ut massa bilder i WhatsAppen.
We left the waterfalls in high spirits, but little did we know, Iceland was just getting ready to rain on our parade. By now, we'd seen a lot of different sights, but we'd still yet to see the number one thing you'd expect to see in Iceland. But look, there it is, ice. Or snow, I guess. Despite all the beautiful nature we'd seen so far, I was personally looking forward most to the last stop, because it's not only gorgeous, not only historically and culturally very significant, but it also indulges my interest in place names. But more on that in a future video. For now, welcome to Þingvellir.
Fallegt. Mjög fallegt.
And yes, we were starting to get drenched at this point.
Ska läsa dig senare.
I also noticed this black sand everywhere. Is there a reason for that? Does it have something to do with volcanic activity? Please let me know in the comments. So, what is Þingvellir? Well, a thing originally meant an assembly, like a parliament. And this is where Iceland's Alþingi used to meet. I'll let our teacher Branislav explain.
Vikingatid slutades året 930
Harald.
när man beslutade att ha ett rike för sig. Och då vill man ha ett ting. Och det var vanligt naturligtvis i Norge att ha många ting. Och så ett allting. Ja. Och de kom hit varje år, precis i juni. Och bodde här i 2 veckor. Det var en marknad här också. Man pratade om allting, inte bara om lök och så vidare.
Man pratade om allting.
Ja.
For a while, we simply stood in front of the vast field, or vellir, as Branislav told us about the intriguing ancient job lögsögumaður, or law speaker in English.
De som sa lag het á íslensku lögsögumaður.
Lögsögumaður.
På svenska heter det lagsagoman. Han måste lägga på minne alla lag som de hade och säga för de andra som kunde inte läsa eller någonting. Allting begrundades året 930 som vi vet nu. Det var verksamt till året 800-talet. Och vad hände då? Vad hände då? Vi har ingen från Danmark här.
Nej.
Men vad hände då?
Danmark.
Ja, Danmark.
Hände.
Kongen beslutade att nej, nu räcker det. Nu skulle islänningarna inte ha allting.
Inte allting.
Nej.
Ingenting.
With that, we headed around the little path to see one last waterfall, the Öxarárfoss, or the Axe River waterfall. There, I also got an unexpected insight into international relationships in Scandinavia. When I lived in Sweden, I mostly knew in theory how Swedes and Norwegians tease each other, but hearing these chants changed everything. Everything. Finally, we headed back to the capital for a pint. Oh, and happy National Day to Sweden! Skål to that!
Skål! Skål!
Thanks for joining me on this day trip, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one where I start using Icelandic in my everyday life and visit the most unusual attractions in Reykjavik.
Skål!